What's going on, guys? It's your boy Random Guy Kev, and this is Thoughts of a Random Guy. We talk about many things dealing with love, dating, relationships, adulting, life, ups and downs, and the ever-evolving world of just being a human. Don't forget to check me out on all your favorite social media platforms at Random Guy Kev and my website at randomguykev.com. Today's topic is navigating, traditional boundaries and healing during the holiday season. And my co-host for this episode is.
My name is DaShun. Follow me on all socials at Justice the Poet.
So, this topic has to do with grief during the holidays and such, and transition periods, and creating boundaries for those people around you, and making sure you heal correctly. I mean, in some cases, you don't heal 100% from these situations. You just continue to just push through, and a lot of times these bring up memories of the past and you wishing that those people were around you. I mean, the holidays tend to be very heavy for a lot of people, and others expect you to be happy and together, not be alone, and surround yourself with happiness. But in some cases, sometimes you are alone and you're isolated by yourself, and you're just dealing with your emotions and just trying to get through the season in a sense. For me personally, with the loss of my dad and my sisters, sometimes every year it does get better, but I do think about them during this time. It's like, hey, what would they be doing now if they were still around? What would we be doing together as a family? And I have friends that I've lost too, and it's the same thought process. But when it comes to this time period, I feel like sometimes people that don't get it, they try to force things onto you to make you like, hey, I want you to be happy. I want you to be It's like, bruh, give me a moment. Leave me alone. I just need a moment to myself to just digest that, the usual suspects aren't here, and this is just me and my mood. Your thoughts on this?
I absolutely agree, and I want to start with I think people's intentions are honorable. I think they are people who love us, care about us, and genuinely want to see us happy. But I think it's the delivery is where the problem lies, and I think like for me, this time of year is especially more difficult. So for anybody who doesn't know, the last time that I saw my mother alive was Christmas 2021. We went to my ex-wife's house and we spent Christmas with my ex-wife and my son, who was about a year and a half at the time. And my mother was saying, she was tired and she wanted to go home and she was going to go to bed early. So we're saying our goodbyes, and she gave my son a hug and a kiss, said I love you. She gave me a hug and a kiss, I said I love you, and that was the last time I saw my mother. She passed away that night. Damn. So my association with Christmas is that's when I lost my mother. And it hurt a little worse because we didn't find her until 2 days later when we went to do a wellness check, because she wasn't responding to calls and she didn't show up for work, which is completely unlike her. So whenever I think of Christmas, my first association is that was the day I lost my mother. Yeah. And so there's been people who, over the years, they're like, oh, what can I do for you on Christmas? On Christmas, I'm gonna get you this gift. I wanna take you here. Let's do something. And it was like, I appreciate that, but you're not asking me what I need, because in that moment, that doesn't help me. What helps me is I have to find time to navigate and grieve the proper way, because you have to understand, when it happened, I got the call, I showed up, and the police officer told me that she was in her apartment unresponsive. And so I go in there when the coroner gets there. I go in there, I see her, and I fall apart. And literally 15 minutes later, now I have to be in business mode because I have to contact the funeral home to come get the body. I have to make all of these calls. I have to, call friends and family. I have to call her job. I have to call her landlord. I immediately had to jump into business mode. So I never had a time to really properly grieve that situation. Yeah. And then because of when it happened December 2021. So now 2022, every single holiday that happens, starting from New Year's Day is my first holiday without her.
Yeah.
And so I have to navigate that space. And everybody along the way was trying to do things to try to distract me. But it's like, you're distracting me from being able to process what I'm going through. And so I think that's something people need to be mindful of in these moments. It's like, hey, show up for that person, but before you start to instill what you think would make you feel better, or what you think would make them feel better, or what you would want if you're in that situation, which is hard to gauge because you never know what you want in that situation until you're in that situation. But before you do that, check in with them. Hey, are you mentally or emotionally able to have this conversation with me right now so that I can try to see how I can be in support of you through this moment? What can I do to help you navigate through this space? Is there something specific that you need or that you want that I can provide for you or help you get access to? And I think if that's the approach, rather than trying to do something on your own and figure it out without their input, I think things will go a lot better. But it's been tough, man. Like, over the years, people are just like saying, oh, you should do this, you should do that. Go to, her favorite place, or, buy something that she would like. And it's like, that's not going to do anything but make me feel the pain of her not being here more.
And again, it's like one of those things where everybody grieves different. And some people haven't, lost someone that close, and they just don't understand. It's like, I get it. There's no knock on you. Thank you for, trying to help me out, but I don't need this right now. And it's like, that's you establishing a boundary. And I feel like once you get to a point, you have to establish those boundaries where it's like you saying, no, I don't want to do that. No, thank you. That's okay. Or like, if you're in an environment that reminds you of them, just having like an exit strategy, just be like, yo, I'm out of here. I can't be here. This makes me feel a specific type of way. And then even for, social media or digital boundaries.
Yes,
where
absolutely.
It's like, all right, let me, I'm not logging into social media. I'm turning off all my notifications. My notifications are off by default, but still, just taking a step back from checking your social media and seeing, those family pictures. My friend just had his family picture with his kids and stuff. I love seeing that stuff. It's like, damn, okay. Like, and I'm looking back at pictures we used to take when we were younger and stuff like that. So it's just, those type of memories that just come back in waves. Sometimes they come back in waves. Sometimes they come all together. You're just like, I'm just gonna sit here and cry.
Right, and that's why. So people ask me like so far in advance, like, hey, what are you gonna do, for Christmas, or how do you want to honor your mother this year? And I'm like, you're asking me that at Thanksgiving or on Black Friday. I don't know how I'm going to feel 3 days before Christmas, let alone on Christmas Day. That's not something I can answer in advance. That's something that's going to come in real time. And whatever I'm going through, you just have to give me the space to navigate that, especially me being a parent. It makes it more difficult because I have to show up on Christmas for my son.
Yep.
I can't let him see and feel everything that I'm feeling, that I'm going through. So I have to, for my time with him, I have to compartmentalize it. I have to tuck it away, and I have to be present in the moment with my son. And then that's why most times on that holiday, when I'm not with him, I'm in isolation, because I just need that space to yell, cry, scream, whatever it is that I need to do. I need that space to get it out, because I don't have the full day to go through it. I only have half the day, because the other half of the day, I have to be present for my son.
Do you feel like there's sometimes a pressure to just be quote unquote normal and act like nothing ever happened?
Absolutely.
It's like in the like you're around people, you just have to, okay, this never happened, just act.
Absolutely, because for me, I don't want my energy to bring other people down, because I don't
be a burden.
Like, imagine, me being somewhere and I see somebody exchanging gifts with their mother, and it's a beautiful moment. And unbeknownst to me, I'm just standing there and I'm crying. And don't even realize that I'm crying, because it's so, the hurt is so deep rooted that I don't even realize it, but now I'm crying. Now the attention shifts from that moment to everybody trying to, be there in support of me. And it's like, I don't want to take moments from people. So if I'm in that type of environment, I have to tuck it the best way that I can. But the best solution for me is just to not even be in those spaces.
Yeah. And it's like at some point you do acknowledge that there's an empty chair in the room, and it's like, okay, like for me it took me a minute to acknowledge, like, somebody's there, because I still would call my sister's number, call my dad's number, text them, and I would get a response and it'd be like, damn, okay, they really not here. They really not here. So it was like, how, like, for you, when it came to that point to acknowledge that there was an empty chair, like, how did that make you feel, like, as a whole? Like,
Oh, I've had so many breakdowns. Just
yeah,
like you said, it's the same thing. Like something happened where I needed to log into my mother's email, and it was two options. It was send a confirmation code to an alternate email address, or to text. And I accidentally selected text, and it went to the other phone. And somebody, I was like, I checked and I was like, I wonder if somebody actually has the number. And I had to text that person and say, hey, I'm sorry I did this by mistake. This was my mother's number before she passed. And they actually responded. And it was, wow, like, somebody else has that number that my mother had for
years,
25 years or so. Yeah. And then now it belongs to somebody else.
Mm-hmm. No, that's the one thing. It's like, you never want to forget that person, and you want to make sure you're good and you're good for the people around you, by creating those boundaries and, saying no and putting yourself in the right mind space. Do you feel like during the holiday season, do you feel like you do enough to remember them and share them with the people around you, like your son? Like, do you make sure your son kind of remembers, or, well, he can't remember because he was like 1, so, that he knows that, hey, this is your grandma?
So for him, yes. So my mother actually started something, and it started with his first Christmas when he was just a few months old. There's these stuffed animals that FAO Schwartz makes, and they have like the adoption certificate and everything. So she bought him a stuffed animal. The first year she got him a giraffe because she knows that his mother likes giraffes, so something, to share a special moment between him and his mother. And then the Christmas before she passed, she got him the little elephant, and then so he had the giraffe and the elephant. So my idea after she passed was, I'm going to continue that. So now every year I get him, whatever I get for him for Christmas, I always add a FAO Schwartz stuffed animal so he can continue that tradition. And I explained to him, I have the conversation with him that this is from your Grammy, so that he, as he gets older, he understands. He'll I'll keep that alive for him. And I have my old phone because he likes to go through my phone, so I have my old phone that I give him and allow him to, watch his videos on my phone or play the games on that phone. The lock screen is a picture of him and my mother. Oh, okay. So and sometimes I just catch him and like he'll push the button for the lock screen to light up, and he'll just sit there and he'll look at it. That's cool. So, I know that he recognizes who she is. I still show him pictures of her and have a conversation with him, but that's something that I'm going to keep going so that he never forgets who she was, even though he was too young to remember.
That's good that you're building a tradition to remember her by.
Right.
And that's always cool. I feel like grief is exhausting. It is very time consuming. Sometimes it just hits you randomly, and sometimes your normal practice of going to the therapist or hitting the gym or meditation doesn't help. Do you have any other methods for yourself that helps for beats? Like I normally have like 6 or 7 things I'll be doing. Like, I'll hit the gun range, I'll gym, writing, meditation, let me do a puzzle, let me just listen to music while doing a Lego set. Like, I'll have so many like little hobby stuff that I could just get my mind off of it, so I could just move forward as far as like, hey, I acknowledge, hey, this is happening. Right. You're in your feelings, but like, how are we gonna move from here? Like, are we gonna sit here and think in our feelings? We can sit here and think, but let's work out, let's clean, let's do something that keeps us active while we're thinking about it, so we don't just slouch on the couch and just like get lost in memories.
The hardest part for me, everybody knows that I'm a writer. I've been writing for literally, it's been 33 years that I've been writing. And with everything that I've ever been through, my go-to has always been to write. Mm-hmm. Even if there's times where like I'll write something down and I'll read it and I'll just delete it and it'll never see the light of day.
That's exactly how I am.
But with the situation with my mother, every time I tried to write, there's just some underlying, my intrusive thoughts get the best of me. There's like underlying guilt about things that are irrational and make absolutely no sense. But I still hold on to those feelings. And so when I would try to write, they would start to come out and I was too afraid to confront them. Like there was a piece that I ran from for 3.5 years. I just finished it 2 weeks ago, but I started it in February of 2022. I ran from it for 3.5 years. And it has made it very difficult for me to be able to write. So I don't have any other vices or things that I go to that give me that same comfort as my writing. So that also made it very difficult to navigate the grieving space because the only thing I can do that makes me comfortable has become uncomfortable. So it was difficult.
For me, I do my writing, like I do my journaling, and then like I'll throw it away. I'll rip that page out, throw it away. It's like, I freed my thoughts. I feel better now. And like you, I was working on a 4th book all about men's mental health, but it's been like one of the up and down challenges. Like, I don't know, like I know what to write in here, but do I want to share this information with all these people? Like, I don't care for them to know this about me. Like, I've had other friends, I've sent them like messages like, hey, I want your thought process on this so I can add it to my story. But it's been damn near probably like 5 years that I've been like sitting on it. Just like, it's just there. Like, do I care to share this much? Not really. Because people are just going to be like, oh, you're a man. You need to figure out yourself. It's always that, hey, you should be figuring it out. You should be good. Like, listen, I don't want to be the strong friend forever. God got me for a point, and then at some point I just listen. I'm good. I'm done. I just want to sit here. I want to sit here, eat my food, mind my business. Like, I don't want to be the soldier always fighting. But like, I don't need to fight this particular battle all the time.
And that's the thing about it, especially for some of us as men, or some of us who have always shown up as the strong friend or the friend who knows how to comfort other people when they're navigating through difficulties. Nobody ever looks at us and say, well, what are you going through? Or how can I reciprocate? Or what do you need? And because we're so strong facing and we don't present what we're going through, they don't see it, we don't wear it in public, people will never know. And again, as long as they're receiving the benefits of our friendship, they're not really invested in finding out, because then now it navigates into a space where they might not be comfortable because they don't know how to show up in a way that you would show up for them if the tables were turned. And so it's a very interesting space to be in. Now, I do have, my friends, they try, and I love them for it dearly. I love them for trying. But sometimes it's like, I know how they're going to try. I know that it's not going to be effective. So I just ask them, please don't. Like, just give me the day to stay to myself and figure things out, and then you and I can connect at a later time.
And I don't think people understand that when it's like, I don't feel like talking. I don't feel like talking right now. I mean, I'm gonna talk to you, but I'll talk to you later. I don't feel like talking to anybody right now.
Right.
And it's like, you go a day or two and people just, go ahead. You can check up on me and I'll let you know my status. But as of right now, I don't feel like talking. I don't got nothing to say. And I tell people, like, it's one of those things, like, I'm happy where I am in life. I'm happy with what's going on in my life. I don't let things stress me. I don't let things get me to a point where I'm having an anxiety attack or panic attack and I'm just like overwhelmed by a situation. If something don't go my way, it wasn't meant to happen. Leave it in God's hand, I move forward. And that's how I look at life now. Everything is too short. Life is too short to just be stressed about little things happening, this going on. Listen, live your life for today, because tomorrow, that may never come. Tomorrow, just like, one day you have somebody, the next day it's just like, oh shit, I was just talking to this person yesterday,
Right.
a couple hours ago, and now they're not here. I don't ever wish that on anybody. It's a scary situation where it's just like 1 minute they're actively in your life, and now you got to change all your routines because they're no longer in your life. It's like, damn, I'm dealing with a void, and it takes you a minute to figure out that you're dealing with a void. Then it's like, oh shit, they're really not here.
Right.
Like, oh no, they're running late. No, they're really not here. So it's like, damn, how am I going to adjust? Take a step back and trying to figure out how you're going to adjust. And again, grief, I don't think grief is a problem. It's just one of those things that it takes time to just figure out what your grief looks like and how you're going to attack it. Because, I mean, everybody deals with grief differently.
I just think people are so uncomfortable with negative feelings that not only do they not want to deal with their own, they don't want to be around anybody else who's navigating them as well. So because people don't know how to sit in the uncomfortable, like being sad is uncomfortable, being angry is uncomfortable, missing somebody is uncomfortable, because these are things that, especially when it's surrounding grief and loss, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
So now you just have to sit in that uncomfortable feeling, and people, they don't like sitting in uncomfortable feelings.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like, I'm okay with sitting in the uncomfortable because I don't have a choice. Like, I lost my mother, and the next day, not even the next day, that same day, I still had to be somebody's father. I still had to be 27 people's manager. I still have to be somebody's brother, somebody's uncle, somebody's godfather. I still have all of these things that I have to do. And so it's like, I lost my mother, and I can't allow anything else in this world to stress me out, because why would I?
Yeah.
I lost my mother and I'm still here. So nothing else that's here with me is going to ever get me to a point where I'm going to allow it to consume me. Because if I can navigate, as painful and uncomfortable as it is to navigate not having my mother, there's nothing else of this world that can get me out of my character.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you on that. Again, like, it's all about how you handle the situations and the situations surrounding you. And I don't think people realize, like, yeah, life comes at you fast. It's you just have to adapt and adjust. It may take you a day. It may take you 3 years. There's no time limit on when things will hit you and when things will happen. And it's like, don't allow society or social media to tell you or dictate to you when you should be grieving, when you shouldn't be grieving, how you should be grieving.
Absolutely.
Because again, everything is different for everybody. But as we come to the end of this episode, what do you want to leave people with in regards to this topic?
I just, want to make sure that the people who are navigating the space of grief during not only this holiday, but any other holidays, and that includes birthdays that you remember, anniversaries, just graduation dates that come and go, or, the day that this person got accepted into college or something, anything that you remember about the person that you love who's no longer here, just whatever you need for that day, for that moment, take it for yourself. And if nobody else can give it to you, do your best to give it to yourself. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry. It's okay to live in that uncomfortable space, and don't feel rushed or forced to present any other way.
Yep. And again, healing looks different for everybody. Going through grief is different for everybody. It's just finding your rhythm to figure it out for yourself. But that is all for this episode. You guys can find me on all social media platforms at Random Guy Kev and my website, randomguykev.com. Don't forget to check in, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.